Hi, I'm Julie from Kitchen, and today I want to talk to you about 7 do's, 7 don'ts, and 3 tips for your Thermomix TM6. Okay, so firstly, the 7 do's. Do use your Thermomix in a well-ventilated area. So that means no overhead cupboards, and basically an area like this is perfect. If there are overhead cupboards, you'll find that when we're cooking, steam will rise and it will get caught underneath the cupboards, and that could damage your cupboards. And if we're in a well-ventilated area, if we can open the window, that's even better. So, well-ventilated area. Also, always have your Thermomix on a flat surface. We want all the feet down nice and flat so that it doesn't get wobbly, because when we're using the Thermomix, we don't want it to walk off the bench. So nice flat firm surface. All the pieces are dishwasher safe. So all the Thermomix accessories, the bowl are all dishwasher safe, and the dishwasher does a great job of washing them up. So definitely do put your Thermomix bowl and accessories in the dishwasher. Also, Thermomix cord, we want to pull out the Thermomix cord until we get to that red tape, and then we know that it's all pulled out properly and then it's ready for use. Also, Thermomix accessories. We want to use only the accessories that came with the Thermomix, or accessories that you buy from the Thermomix shop. So that's the mix shop. We do this because we don't want to use aftermarket accessories that might damage the Thermomix, particularly when it's in its warranty period. So if we're using aftermarket accessories that actually damage the Thermomix, it may not be covered by warranty. So we'll just be on the safe side, use the accessories that came with the Thermomix or mix shop products. Okay, next, do clean the base unit with a damp cloth. So we just want to clean, we can clean the screen, clean around the selector, around here. Basically anywhere that it's dirty, we're able to clean that with a damp cloth. Okay. Now, if we do get water through our Thermomix, you want to stop the Thermomix immediately. So we want to turn the Thermomix off using the selector, press it in, hold it until the Thermomix turns itself off, turn it off at the switch and pull out the plug. So that's the first thing we do. Then you'd want to call your consultant and let them know, and they'll probably call you, get you to call the service department. So contacting the service department is the next step, and they'll advise you from there. So those are our seven do's for the Thermomix. Now we move on to our don'ts. So don't fill past the maximum fill line. So I've got a max line here. We don't want to go past that because that's when liquid might overflow, boil over. So definitely don't fill past the maximum fill line. Also, don't use a spatula other than the one provided, because when we're stirring, we don't want the spatula to get caught in the blades and damage the blades. Definitely only use the spatula that came with the Thermomix. When we have a whisk in place, we don't use the spatula either. You can see here, it will touch the whisk and it will knock the whisk off, and that can damage the whisk and the blades. So we don't use the spatula with the whisk. Okay, next. We can wash any of the parts to the Thermomix, even dishwasher safe, but what we do need to make sure is that these pins are perfectly dry before we put it back in the base unit. So make sure we're drying these pins. So don't put the pins in here wet. Okay, don't leave the machine unattended in dough mode. So dough mode is one of those modes that is very extreme, and we don't want our Thermomix walking off the bench. Also, don't slide your Thermomix, so don't push the Thermomix around to move it. It's always better to keep the Thermomix in the one spot, and tell other members of the family as well that the Thermomix needs to be lifted to move, and it shouldn't be slid. So to move around. Also, these locking arms, we don't want to interfere with them in any way. So we don't want to be, lifting this out when it's ready to close. When the arms have closed, if it won't release the arms, we don't want to be forcing those arms. We need to let the Thermomix decide when those arms are going to open and when those arms are going to close. It's just a function of the machine that we don't interfere with. Also, when we're putting the bowl into the machine, we want to be careful not to be bashing on the arms as we're doing that. Okay, and they're my don'ts. Okay, next we have our tips. Okay, so the first tip is when we are preparing to travel with our Thermomix, we want to go and put it in travel mode. So we're going to go over to our main menu. We're going to tap on settings, and we are going to scroll over to transportation mode and hit transportation mode. Then we're going to hit activate, and it's going to lock the Thermomix bowl into position. Now this is nice and safe for transporting your Thermomix. So it's safe now for us to hold in the selector button to turn off the Thermomix, and then turn it off at the power point and put it in our travel case. Now it is always a good idea to use the travel case, because that actually lifts the Thermomix up off its scales, protecting the scales as well. So it actually has a piece of foam in under here, and it has padding in the side. So all the areas of the Thermomix are actually protected in the travel case for travel. So I'm going to deactivate travel mode and then take us back. Okay, also if we're having trouble with the scales at any point, so say we are measuring in ingredients and we don't feel that it's going up correctly, or we've emptied in, say a container, a 250 ml container of milk, and it's only registering at 150 ml, so you know something's wrong. The first thing we need to do is to have a look under the machine, because sometimes there can be something small under the machine. An example might be a teaspoon. It might just be sitting under there where you can't see it, and it's just stopping that scale from just going down just that little bit, and that's interfering with the scales. It could be a pen that's rolled under there. It may be the fact that you've got a cookbook that you're working from and a little bits are slipped under there. So they're the common things. Also, it could be that something is leaning up against the back of your machine. So just have a look around your machine as well and see if there isn't something leaning up against the machine. Sometimes also it can be a cord from another appliance is leaning on the machine and interfering with the scales. Next common thing and tip is if this screen is playing up, and if it typically it's just jumping from bit to bit and looking a bit erratic, and that can be due to a dirty screen. Because this is a touch screen, if you do have some fingerprints or some water or food or something, it can get confused about what's actually a finger touching the screen or what's actually a dirty mark. So for that reason, if you do experience that, all you need to do is to wipe over the screen, dry the screen properly, and then that should fix that problem also. So I hope my 7 do's, 7 don'ts and 3 tips have been useful for you today. Hope to see you soon. Bye for now.
I hope you enjoyed this video. Please like and subscribe to our YouTube channel, and don't forget to join me on our Thermo Kitchen Facebook group. Happy cooking!